There is a lot of upheaval going on right now at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, or CDC. The top director was fired by the Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and then by President Trump. And then a number of top leaders at the CDC resigned in protest. There's a real conflict going on here between them, they represent the scientific and medical community, and RFK Jr., who for years has been pushing fringe conspiracy theories about vaccines and alleging all sorts of things that the scientific community says are not true and have no basis in science. When RFK Jr. was describing all the problems at the CDC, he said something interesting that I want you to take a listen to.
The CDC is an agency that is very troubled for a very long time. The CDC has on its website today that among the top 10 medical innovations, greatest medical accomplishments in history was abortion. This is one of the greatest medical accomplishments because it keeps small families. Go to the website, look at it.
So come with me, we're going to examine what exactly RFK Jr. is talking about. I wanted to see what he was talking about. He said, look for yourself. So we did. So just CDC, top 10 advances. Here's one, 10 great public health achievements, United States, 1900 to 1999, and here they are. And you'll see none of them include the word abortion. The word abortion is not here. Search word abortion. Oop, I spelled it wrong. 0, 0. No mentions of abortion. Okay, there's another one also, just to be fair. Here's another 10 great public health achievements, United States, a different one. It's the same basic outline, but maybe it's on this one. Abortion, 0 out of 0. Okay, so then we reached out to RFK Jr.'s office, HHS, and said, what are you talking about? The word abortion's not in there at all. Okay, so what HHS said to us when we reached out and said, hey, abortion isn't mentioned in the top 10 list of great achievements in health. They said, okay, family planning is, and then they said, they linked to a page that had to do specifically with family planning, going deeper on that one bullet point, and which mentions abortion. So, okay, let's go there and see what they're talking about. So this is, again, CDC, and it's about family planning. So here's the question. Does the mention of abortion in this mean that they're talking about abortion as an achievement, or is abortion just used in some other context? So let's do a search for the word. Okay, abortion appears 5 times in here. So this one is just a history of the modern birth control movement. Margaret Sanger, concerned about the adverse health effects of frequent childbirth, miscarriages, and abortion. Okay, so that's obviously not saying abortion is some great achievement in health. This one is about physicians are the primary providers of ways to have family planning, meaning contraception or surgical sterilization, etc. These services prevent an estimated 1.3 million unintended pregnancies. So the goal in family planning is to prevent unintended pregnancies. And how do they get to that number, 1.3? Well, here's 534,000 unintended births, 632,000 abortions. So again, they're not saying abortion's like some great achievement. They're citing it as an example of unwanted pregnancies. All right, so that doesn't count either. There's another mention here. United States, unintended pregnancy remains a problem. 49% of pregnancies are unintended, 54% of these end in abortion. Here they're actually saying abortion is evidence of a problem of unwanted pregnancies. And it says the U.S. ranks 4th highest in total fertility rate and had the 2nd highest abortion rate. Again, it's an indication of the fact that there are too many unintended pregnancies, which is why they think contraception is such a great thing. And then, so that's 3, that's 4. And then the 5th mention is just in a history of milestones in family planning. It mentions Roe v. Wade legalizing abortion in 1973. Obviously, that has been changed in the Dobbs decision. So what are we to make of all this? We're to make of it that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., when he said that the CDC said abortion was one of the 10 great achievements in healthcare, that CDC had said that was not true. And then when we challenged them on that, what are you talking about? They tried to come up with a way to retroactively make it true by noting that the word abortion appeared on the family planning page, although it did not appear in the context of an achievement. It appeared in the context of this is evidence of unintended pregnancies or unwanted pregnancies, which is why contraception is good. And this really illustrates something that the scientists at the CDC have been saying, which is Robert F. Kennedy says things that aren't true, and he bases them on a foundation of lies, and this is having an impact on American health. So that's what I spent this morning doing.